Recent polling coming out indicates that Illinoisans are not too happy about the state's abortion policies, which are among the most liberal in the country. And this poll coming from Ogden and Fry. And we're going to talk about that and a few other things here this morning with State Representative Mark Batinick. He joins us now on WMAY. I'm Greg Bishop with Springfield's Morning News. Representative, thanks for taking time. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on.
Good to hear. All right, so let's get into this poll. I'm going to pull it up here for those watching online, but tell us what Ogden and Fry ultimately found out from likely voters in Illinois.
Well, what we found out is what we suspected, is that the policies that the Democrats have been passing in the last couple of years are certainly to the far extreme left. And every time the Democrats felt that a different state was going to the extreme right, they somehow felt that they needed to balance that out by going to the extreme left. It doesn't work that way. I think we should do what's good for Illinoisans, and basically the type of things that they've been passing enjoy about 22 to 25% support, whether it be the repeal of PNA or
and that's the parental notification of abortion.
Yeah.
Just so we're clear, okay.
Yeah, I made that mistake. You're not supposed to use acronyms. Or the amount of people that support abortion through full term of pregnancy is really not even a minority. It's not even a super minority. It's a very, very, very small minority. So, parental notice is something that is a very serious issue. And 78% of respondents supported some version of parental notice. Only 22% supported the repeal. And that was something that we did just recently down in Springfield.
So some of the other things that this poll ultimately found were the overall sentiments about abortion, and I want to pull this particular bit up and where people ultimately landed on this, because I think it tells a lot about the state of Illinois. We're talking with State Representative Mark Batinick. The question was, abortion is one of the most divisive topics of the day. How do you consider yourself? 100% pro-life with exceptions, pro-choice with some restrictions, or 100% pro-choice? And the vast majority were right there in the middle between pro-life with some exceptions or pro-choice with some exceptions. What do you think that says about the state of Illinois when it comes to the issue of abortion?
Well, so many people want to look at abortion as a binary issue, and it's not. It's more of a spectrum. And as you mentioned, it's very much like a bell curve where the bulk of the people are somewhere in the middle. And as you just read, it's 21.72% consider themselves 100% pro-choice, legal until the moment of birth. So that's basically what they were trying to pass in D.C., and that's basically what the previous legislation that we passed, the RHA, Reproductive Health Care Act, was really making it almost restriction free, which is not where the majority of the public is. I think probably the thing that's telling that the Democrats understand this is that when they repealed parental notice, I think they called it something like the Youth Health and Safety Act. If you're repealing parental notice, call it parental notice. If you have to wash it away of what it really does, maybe you actually recognize that the vast majority of the public doesn't agree with what you're doing.
Well, and Representative, reading that bill, it did change. It was amended, and then it created this kind of task force of sorts, and then there's just one small line in there about such and such act is repealed on this date. And that such and such act that was repealed on the date was the parental notification law. Talking with State Representative Mark Batinick, of course, I think this Ogden and Fry poll, there's a lot of questions there, everything from, approval rating of the president, approval rating of the governor, and so on. So we'll be unpacking that in the days ahead. But I wanted to also talk with you about something else that people are being impacted by regularly when they go to the pump to pay. They're getting hit by all kinds of increases. And it's not just what they're having to pay for their own personal consumption when it comes to gas. If they own a business and they've got equipment that they've got to haul around, they're paying extra because of gas to haul that around. But Representative, you've also got municipalities with the taxpayer-fueled vehicles that are getting hit with high gas prices. Is there any political will to come back in an election year and find some real relief for those who are paying these high prices?
Well, you would think that there would be more political will for something like this in an election year, especially since it's budget neutral. So what we're talking about is a House bill that I introduced that caps the sales tax on gas. So we have a per gallon tax, and then we have the sales tax. So government is actually getting a windfall of money because the sales tax is a percentage. So when gas goes from $2 a gallon to $5 a gallon or $5.55 a gallon, where it is by me, the amount of money that state and local governments are making on that is actually increasing. We're getting a windfall. And I want you to think about this. Poor people and middle-class people are being disproportionately hurt by this. And downstate people are being disproportionately hurt by this because they have to just drive more. So it to me, when I introduced this legislation, I actually thought that it would either be in the budget implementation bill or that somebody else would steal it, or we would do it because it was such common sense. It's actually a huge regressive tax on the poor. And I just thought it was going to get done. And when it didn't get done and they did this freeze with a 2.2 increase on the per gallon tax, I frankly was shocked, especially since they're requiring that sticker to pat themselves on the back, which I think is gonna come back to bite them. So I would think the only reason that they wouldn't be doing it is because they don't want to give Republicans a win in some way, because we've been talking about this for a long time. But this really needs to be done. I mean, gas is getting out of control, and the idea that government is making a windfall in the backs of the middle class and poor is really disheartening.
And that's
specific to downstate. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and that's really because of that sales tax that's on top of the federal motor fuel tax, the state's motor fuel tax, possibly local motor fuel tax, county and city. But that sales tax is what you're really looking to target to cap, which could lead to how much in savings per gallon?
Well, so up here where I live, the sales tax is about 8 cents a gallon. So when you jump from $2 to $5 a gallon, that's 24 cents a gallon you're saving. And there's the sales tax is 10%, right? So when you go from $2 to $5 a gallon, that's 30 cents a gallon you're saving. So it depends what the sales tax is in your area, but it's not an insignificant amount. And what you're seeing is as gas prices go up, you're seeing the spread between us and other states get larger because we are one of the few states that charges a tax on top of the gallon tax.
Well, Representative, I think your phone is just about had enough of us. Just got kind of crapped out there just at the tail end. But we will definitely be talking with you again in the near future about this issue, I would imagine, as we await to see if the State House is going to come back for a special session or not. And I haven't seen any of the leaders being asked about this, from the governor to the Senate president or the House Speaker. Is that something you think that they should do, is have a special session, get back here and deal with this?
We 100% need a special session to deal with this. Absolutely.
All right. Appreciate that. And we'll talk again soon. Okay. Be safe out there.
Thanks for having me on, Greg.
It is the Springfield Morning News. I'm Greg.